Hey, good day, everybody. Good Sunday, good day, unless it's an afternoon for you. If you're joining live or later on, um, welcome. We're going to get started with this yin practice. I'm going to give it just about another minute or so. You're going to need two props, two stacks, two blocks, or something that helps you to make that happen. And also, the playlist today is on my Spotify, and the link is in the chat. And it's YIN Sunday, February 7th. That's our playlist. It's pretty sweet to have some tunes. I like to think about how to make it cozy for Sundays. So please feel free to get that going. I've got my cozy little heating pad as well here, which if you like to practice with a blanket or socks on, yin's the time to do that kind of stuff because there's not as much moving around or needing to kind of find grip to the mat. Hey, Mom. How's it going? I love that my mom has been practicing pretty consistently for a while now, but she also joined in on our 30-day challenge. So if you're finding this channel anew, what I can tell you is it's really nice to be able to share your practices with your parents, with your loved ones, with your kids even. I know some people are doing that. It kind of becomes a little bit of a shorthand in terms of how you're looking inward and taking care of yourself and your body and your heart and mind. So it's nice to have that shared communication and that base, and I'm appreciative to have my mom on board and my husband on board, and now so many friends and yogis on board. So thanks for joining. Okay, guys, it is 11:02 Eastern Time. That means it's 8:02 Pacific Time. And we're going to get started. I'm going to count down the playlist for us. You can get on your back and have your device ready, or you can have your device ready before you lay down on your back, but that's where we're going to start. And count it down for 5, 4, 3, 2, have your props nearby as well, and 1, press play. I'll try and give quite a bit of space today to our postures, so I'll get us in and then give us some space and quiet while we visit them. And legs about mat width distance, and toes, big toes especially, turned out. Inner thighs open, hips open, heart open, palms facing up. Just landing into the stillness of your body and the quality of your breath. And 2 more breaths. Noticing the inhale fill up your belly and your chest, so that you can notice the exhale fall your belly and your chest. You're going to step the soles of your feet to the mat. Your knees are looking up to the sky. And you're going to bring your legs into a butterfly pose. So the soles of your feet touch like prayer and the knees will open up towards the sides. You can feel for that entry in really slowly to know if you need to shift your feet up or down a bit. And then we're going to bring our arms overhead. You can invite a little bit of a stretch to set up this part of the pose. And then through the exhale, you're going to either cactus the arms or interlock the hands behind the head. And it might be an occasion to put one of your props or each of your props underneath your elbows if you feel really stiff and tight in your shoulders, so that your stacks or your props start to support your elbows underneath. If this is a real giant kind of bit of sensation into the opening of your shoulders and the upper chest body. Might be just one of your arms needing support, kind of like where I'm at because of the tenderness in my shoulder. Or maybe you're okay to shift your props out and let your elbows hang. Choose something that can give you pause in this pose. As you cycle through the breaths and dive into the shape, there might be a greater awareness of how to support the shape. Your stacks can also be used underneath your knees, on your outer thighs. So just taking this moment to make a decision about how to support this shape as we enter in for the next 2 minutes. halfway there, it's a nice little bit of time to check in on whether you want to remove the props of support to enter deeper into the pose for a deeper sensation. It's also a nice time to dive a little further into the quality of our breath again. To pay attention to the scope of breath feeding the entirety of our body. And 2 more breaths here. Listening to the playlist, can your next breath follow a kind of rhythm of the music to expand and soar? Removing your hands from underneath your head, or taking your arms out of cactus and bringing them alongside your body. Feel the relief of that breath in as you put your hands to your outer thighs and knees. And breath out as you help to close your legs slow, feeling the spaces in between on the way to that close. I'm going to rock over to the right side. And then slowly make your way onto your knees. Setting up for a child's pose. With your knees at least a little apart. Put your bum into the pocket of the heels, toes touch. And then tuck your forehead in a little bit to rest it in and onto the mat. With your arms just relaxed ahead of you. Bend in your arms to signal release in the shoulders. And then just take these quality breaths where you feel the spread in the back body, the stretch of the back body for the inhale, and the heaviness of the heart and belly towards the thighs for the exhale. You're going to try and extend your arms long out in front and put your hands in prayer So you feel the resting of your pinky fingers onto the mat. You can hug your elbows in a little more by walking them step in to hug your forehead. And then just slow and steady bend the arms. Pray your hands and fingertips start to look back. Grounding through the knees and the shins, grounding through the elbows onto your mat. And if you have the opportunity to bend the arms that much, even grounding the thumbs onto the upper mid back. And taking notice of the shape, what it triggers up in your body, and what it triggers up in your mind. You may need to make a little more space for things. You may need to walk your elbows wider. Or you may embrace the challenge of elbows closer to your head. And a little more sensation through the lats and the triceps. More than halfway there. It's a decent hold so that we understand to explore the whole possibility of this shape. If you haven't already, what do bigger breaths give this shape? Two more breaths, perhaps pressing the heels of the hands a little more significantly closer together. Slowly taking the arms long out of the bend so that you can land the pinky fingers of your prayer hands onto your mat ahead of you. Slowly untucking the chin and the head. And then maybe walking your elbows in to bend in the arms. And as you put your elbows to the floor with your knees still wide in that child's pose, toes touch, ground through the elbows and press down to pull your heart forward and up as though you're in a sphinx, to feel a little squeeze of the shoulder blades here. Gaze straight ahead, not up. Breathe in and out. Keep the press and the pull through the grounding of the elbows. Keep most of the forearms to the ground and flip the palms up. And as you press most of the forearms to the ground, except for the wrists and the palms, fan the fingers and thumbs out towards the sides of your mat for a deeper squeeze and sensation through the mid and upper back. Breathe in and out. One more inhale. One more exhale. Bring that fan of the fingers back into neutral. Put the palms down. Stop pressing through the elbows. Rest the sensation. And then press up through the hands to get into tabletop. Take your stacks, your props, put them underneath your hands, guys. And then from this place, let's get into downward face dog, just to feel any space you might have opened up in the back body and the shoulders. Come down through the knees. Put your forearms on your blocks with your hands hanging out, kind of relaxed out in front of the blocks. You should feel a little bit of an arch in the spine. You might enjoy that arch a little bit. You might encounter it deeper as you arch the spine like cow to look forward. Breathe in. And then neutralize the spine to breathe out and walk the knees one at a time, at least one step back to put the knees more directly underneath your sit bones. Curl your toes under. Press into the forearms. Send your bum back towards those heels looking up. Tuck your chin in. And then bring your forehead again down onto the mat in between your arms. You might need a little less of this. So that might mean bringing your bum more forward than back. It might also mean putting your head up or propping your head up so that your head doesn't hang down and get into sensation in the neck body. Take your moments here to find what fits so that we can be here for an extended period of time. than halfway through, a little check-in. Could you relax a little deeper into a more intense example of sensation, with your bum hanging a little more heavy and back towards your heels? Could you send the wise energy of your breath into the pockets of tension and tight that you feel in your body? A few more breaths that perhaps ride the rhythm of the soar and the swell of the music that is grand. Can the breaths be just as grand? One more breath in, perhaps hold at the top. Feel the space that that hold gives. An audible exhale out. Light pressure, press into the arms. Bring the bum forward as you pick up the head. More and more forward to give space to walk the knees in that one step that they walked back. And slow and steady, step the hands onto your stacks. And cow our pose with the dip of the belly down. The arch of the spine, breathe in. And we'll round our spine this time to cat pose. And feel any space you can dig up in the upper back. Flat back for your inhale. And then downward face dog, just to feel that space once again. A kind of measure for how we're opening up. And changing what's possible in our body. And getting into stagnation and freeing stagnation. Just noticing this pose for a little bit of time here. Cool thing about freeing stagnation is it gets things moving. So it's not uncommon to feel your nose stuff up as you release things in your body. It's not uncommon to even feel a little sore in the throat as you dig in to your body. As we massage into our body, we release. One more breath in, one more breath out. And bring the knees back down to your mat. Release your props nearby. And slowly take yourself to belly, heart, legs on the floor. You can layer your forearms underneath your, or you can place your chin on your forearms or layered hands. Take about 2 more breaths. Buddha-like belly, softness in that belly to the mat. Feel the lower back get a charge to lift the head and hold the head up. Extend your right arm out long to what seems like 3 o'clock on the clock. It might mean you moving over to the left side of your mat to create space. A little spread of the fingers wide, and then use your left palm by your heart underneath your left shoulder to roll over onto your right side for broken wind. And the roll open onto your right side is up to you to feel for what's possible and what creates space for breath. Legs can be long or in the fetal position if you want to rest a little more. Head can be on a prop if you want to create a pillow. Finding the calm of stillness. Meeting the stillness for calm. And take 2 more breaths. We're here for a little less time, given the nature of the pose. And rolling back onto your belly, allowing that to arrive fully before you release your right arm alongside. And then taking a moment to look over in the opposite direction, left cheek to the mat. Keeping your head up, feeling the charge of your lower back to lift your head so that you can extend your left arm to 9 o'clock. I like to get a little bit of spread on my fingers and then roll open onto my left side body. Again, you could use a prop underneath your head, like a pillow. And that's pretty good for any tightness in the neck body or support around that. As you find the expression of this shape that's right for you, please know that it doesn't need to be exactly the same or offer the same level of intensity as the other side. What it needs to be is allow for smooth breaths in and out. A few more breaths here. Might help to be specific about the energy and pathway of breath. Into the pocket of that left shoulder, into the spaces where there's still a little bit of charge. For your next inhale, maybe get to the top and hold. And then find a bit of relief on your exhale. If you have a prop as a pillow, you'll want to remove that. And then roll back onto your belly. And before you release your arm, you're going to just look towards the left and bring your left arm alongside your body. I'm going to slowly make our way back onto our knees for that kind of makeshift child's pose. And as you get into that makeshift child's pose, bring your forearms back onto the mat. And use your forearms to ground down and maybe round through the spine as you push your bum closer to your heels. That's a nice little offering. And you can sway a little bit through the bum right to left. It'll feel like a stretch through the mid-spine. A little rounding in that area. And then come out of that little bit of rounding and ground again through the elbows. Palms face down, forearms face down. And pull your heart forward and up. Gaze neutral, a little squeeze of those shoulder blades again. Breathe in and out. Keep the press down and grounding into the elbows. That pull your heart forward and up like you're swimming out of a swimming pool. And flip your palms up, most of your forearms onto the mat except for your wrists. Fan your thumbs, your fingers out to the sides of your mat as you ground into your forearms for the most part and your elbows. Breathe in and out. Bring the fanning of those fingertips back into neutral. Flip the palms down. Relax the press of the elbows. Press up into tabletop. Take your stacks underneath your hands. Ground into those hands in tabletop. And then press back up into downward face dog through the hips. You can try for a little extra dip of the heart towards the knees and thighs. Come back down on the knees. Hands remain on the blocks for a bit for that tabletop. And breathe in to arch the spine in cow pose here. And breathe out to press around into the spine to tuck your chin in and open up space across the upper back. Flat back. Inhale. Step your stacks, your props, blocks off to the side. Exhale. You can keep your shoelaces to the mat from tabletop. And for momentum, you could bring your right arm high. Breathe in. Stretch. And then thread it underneath on a bit of an angle with your fingertips pointing to 11 o'clock underneath your left armpit. Option to add on and wrap this left arm behind with left fingertips into the crease of your hips. Might be too much for some, certainly is in my body today. And then where you feel the stretch and sensation, that's where you're triggering breath in and breath out. It'll get better as you support it with breath. And 2 more breaths. Bringing that left hand in front of your face to ground down. And push back up. You might kick the right arm back up to the sky as a little rebound effort here. And then right palm down. And check in with your knees. You could support your knees with a little bit of cushion underneath your knees. If you've had it with your knees, you could bring your belly down. Or you could kick your left arm up the way you did on the other side. And then thread it underneath the right armpit to point your left fingertips to about 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Again, option to access this almost very same pose from your thighs down and your belly down. Threading your arm underneath. As you do that, you're finding a more neutral setting of your heart to the floor so that your right side body is grounded too. Assessing this shape for whether you need more sensation or less. A little more would turn the right hip in and down, left hip up. And maybe wrapping the right fingertips behind you and into the left hip crease. Exploring 3 more breaths, the kind that travel the whole length of your back body from side to side, in and out. You're going to put your right hand in front of your face to ground down. And as you release your left arm, you'll maybe kick it up for a bit of a rebound, a little reach, as much as you can grab. Left hand down. If you're getting out of this pose from your belly, just rolling a little bit to free the arm. And then we'll all meet in tabletop. Hands on the props again. Fitting most of our hand on the vertical setting of that prop. And a stretch, last stretch into down dog. Come back down to the knees. Sit your bum on your heels. Stand up your heart, long spine. If you need a little support of a block underneath your seat to prop a little bit of a lift away from resting onto your shoelaces and ankles, do that. Bring your hands together, interlock your hands, flip your palms forward and up, and stretch open your palms to the sky like you're pressing them on a ceiling. Breathe in. And maybe shrug the shoulders away from the ears down. Breathe out. Release your arms wide along your side and then behind you to interlock your hands behind and knuckles face down. Open your shoulders, roll your chest open, and breathe in and out. Let it go slow and lie down on your back body, guys. Child's pose, or not child's pose, Shavasana. As you lie down in Shavasana, I'm going to invite you to maybe start to silence the music and silence everything around and drift off. Sweet, sweet Sunday to you and yours. Lots of love in the shoulders. Namaste.